It's a great pleasure to be here with all of you. Prime Minister, at the end of this week, you're going to the United Kingdom for COP26, joining over 130 world leaders in what will be the biggest ever gathering of world leaders in our country. And gathering, of course, for a vitally important reason, because the decisions you make next week will shape the future of our planet. Because you'll be there at COP26 to address the most urgent challenge of our time, that of climate change. And of course, when leaders last met when they met in Paris and agreed the Paris Agreement, they set that target of 1.5 degrees maximum average global temperature rise. And it's vitally important, Prime Minister, as you know very well, that at COP26 we accelerate progress so that we can keep to that 1.5 degrees limit, so that we can reach our net zero targets, so that we can help the most vulnerable countries adapt to the effects of climate change, and so that we can ensure that the finance is there to make all of that possible. And that's why, Prime Minister, we are particularly delighted that you'll be there in Glasgow and that you'll play such a prominent role, because we want your voice and the voice of other countries who are on the front line of a climate crisis that you didn't create. We want those voices to be heard loud and clear. We want people to understand what's happening in this region. The challenge that you face from climate change, from sea level rises, from flooding, from drought, all of these things which represent something pretty close to an existential challenge for the people of this region. It's vitally important that everyone understands that. It's also important that we understand the resilience of people in this region in adapting to these changing climate circumstances, but also of how much more needs to be done and how the world has to stand with you so that you can face this challenge. 1.5 to stay alive, it's a catchy slogan, Prime Minister, but we know that in this region it's a matter of life and death. And so it's vitally important that that progress is made. Your country is leading by example, Prime Minister. We know that you haven't created this situation, but you are absolutely doing your part to address it. We know that you intend to become fossil fuel free in your electricity and transport sectors by 2030. And that's a message to the big polluters around the world. If you can do it, then they must do it. We've all got a part to play in this, countries large and small, because frankly we all have to act together if we're going to safeguard the future of this planet that we share. And so, Prime Minister, I hope you know that our government in the United Kingdom, we've worked tirelessly with governments around the world, including very closely with your own government, to ensure that COP26 in Glasgow is a success, to ensure that the decisions that are taken next week make a difference and safeguard the future of the planet for all of us. So we wish you all the very best for those negotiations and discussions in Glasgow next week, Prime Minister. And I think we're going to plant trees here as a small symbol, I think, of the hope that we have for the success of those negotiations and of our shared commitment to the future of our planet. Thank you.
High Commissioner, members of the British High Commission, members of the press, members of my own office, and the staff at Ilaro Court, let me say how honored I am this morning to do something that I really have not done at this residence since coming in, which is to plant a tree. And I thank us for this opportunity, not just only for the symbolism of it, but also for the substance of it. These grounds are perhaps one of the most lovely grounds anywhere to be found in this island. And ironically, prior to the start of the pandemic, we had intended to do a number of things down on this side of the grounds. Most people usually stay above, but we wanted to hold a number of natural fundraisers here to be able to help critical causes in the country. COVID put paid to that, but COVID cannot put paid to our being able to save this planet that we live on. And that is why, in spite of the pandemic and in spite of everything else that's going on, COP26 is so vital a meeting, because it requires us to summon the political will to be able to take decisions that will affect literally the lives of those people, and those of us in particular who live on small island developing states. But we've also recognized that because the world has been so slow to act, that those living between the tropics of Cancer, tropics of Cancer and Capricorn are now also affected. It is against that backdrop, therefore, that our voices will continue to be heard, that we will make the claims for justice and for morality to root the actions of countries. High Commissioner, I'm particularly pleased to participate this morning with you. I know that your previous boss, His Royal Highness Prince Charles, was way ahead of his time, as I keep saying, on these matters pertaining to the environment. And I know that our friendship with Britain matters to us. And I say that specifically for those who may want to create mischief because of our determination to do and to go towards the Republic. But we are bound together by a number of common values. And the most critical of these are the ones that will cause us to have high ambition next week in Glasgow. Without that high ambition, those of us here will continue to pay the price. And the price that we pay is in this sweltering heat. The price that we pay are in those parishes that don't have water readily when we need them to have water. The price that we pay are these short, sharp showers. Yesterday evening I was in the Bayland, and one of the major problems we dealt with was the flooding that takes place in one or two areas. And why? Because we now have with regularity these short, sharp, intense showers. It is absolutely critical for the Ministry of Public Works to have a consistent program for the cleaning of wells. And what we discovered upon coming in is that there really has not been a proper record of the location of wells across this country. And the government, like many other things, is seeking to put that in order now, because flooding means damage, flooding means potential loss of life, as we saw with Karoo. So today, I thank you for this opportunity. We will go forward fighting, but recognizing as well that while we ask the world to step up to the plate, we have a duty ourselves to step up to the plate in Barbados. Prior to COVID, we had hoped to plant 1 million trees. We had literally to put that one side because the same resources I keep making in a small island are doing multiple things. And therefore I hope that next year that is one of the things that we can resume in getting the tree planting going. The Minister of the Environment, the Honourable Adrian Ford, has been very, very passionate on this, and therefore I look forward to his being able to resume this program in 2022 so that more Barbadians can do it. When I speak later today at the Chamber of Commerce, I'm going to be speaking also about the absolute need for us to change our mindset and to understand that we have now to become fully self-sufficient. We must become resilient. The world is facing shortages. We have to be able to start to take care of ourselves far more than we do. Every Bajan household should have a lime tree. Every Bajan household should have a breadfruit tree. Every Bajan household should have either a golden apple or a mango tree. Every Bajan household should have then some other kind of flowering trees. And if you can get a coconut tree in there, why not? So I'm saying this because that's what our grandparents did, and our great-grandparents, and our great-great-grandparents. And I remember eating all kinds of plums and eating all kinds of fruit as a child that I don't see now. Eating passion fruit off the vines, eating the same custard apple that I can plant now, or the sugar apple that High Commissioner you planted, or the golden apples, or mammy apple. When last you see a mammy apple? You understand? Sour sop. All of these things, June plum, Jamaicans call June plum golden apple, but I said that already. It's the other plum I mean, the hog plum, you understand? So all of these are things that too many of our children, when I ask them about it, some of them don't even know what a dunks is, a dunks tree is, and it is amazing. So I ask all Barbadians today, as we will continue to do, It's not for government to do everything, but every one of us in our own little way, in our own little backyard, can do the things that ultimately make the difference. And we know that the more trees we have, the more chance we have of being able to capture some of the carbon that is changing the climate. And it's as simple as that. And in a lot of long talk, it's as simple as that. So thank you, and let's get on with the job.